Hot Wheels Cargo Carriers, the full 5-vehicle set from Car Culture. This is a very popular series of vehicles that has been out for 2 years now. And this is an amazing wave of vehicles. We've got the brand new Nissan C10 Skyline Wagon, brand new casting, as well as some castings such as the Honda Odyssey, which are for the first time ever featuring real rider wheels and extreme decoration. These are in the $4 to $5 range at your local stores, if you can find them. We'll talk about that more at the end of the video. But for now, we're going to take a look at some of the awesome card art on each of these cars, front and back, as well as the vehicles in their package, and of course a full review. I'm opening up the second set of cars I have for a loose review of these vehicles, side by side, and also a comparative history of each of these castings, dating back to 1982 for the Volkswagen Sun Agon. Number 1 of 5, the first in the series of all 5 vehicles, we have the Volkswagen T1 Panel Bus. This has an awesome realistic paint job on it. Yellow paint with a white roof. The Moon Eyes Racing tampos on it. Go with the moon, it says on the back. Realistically painted red taillights. And realistically painted front headlights, signal lights, and of course the Volkswagen symbol. Check out some of this amazing flame work coming out from the front fenders, extending all the way back to the rear wheels. Beautiful ghost flames. This thing looks so authentic. The cool thing about the Cargo Carriers is that the vehicle matches the artwork, and the artwork has never been more fantastic. You're going to find the best artwork to date on this series of Car Culture vehicles. And here are the 5 vehicles, as I said, that we're looking at in the set. Each card art will have the same pictures and 5 vehicles on the back, but obviously each of the card art represents the vehicle in the package, which is very detailed and amazing. All the cars feature front headlights and taillights, details such as door handles being painted and trim work, all the things that you aren't normally finding on Hot Wheels from years past, but now is the new standard of the Hot Wheels highly collectible series such as the Car Culture. So a little history on the Volkswagen T1 Panel Bus. This panel bus was first released in 2012. It has had 10 paint recolors, including this one to date. Most of the recolors were found in the Pop Culture series, so all those movie-themed things and like Star Wars, Star Trek, that sort of thing. This, however, is the first realistic paint job ever seen on this casting. So, very desirable vehicle, one of the harder ones to find in the 5-vehicle set in my experience. Number 2 out of 5 in the series, we've got the Ford Transit Supervan. This is a real-life racing van that was created several years ago, and Hot Wheels has already done the perfect rendition of that, which I will show you momentarily. However, this version has the Golf Tampo work on it, and it looks fantastic with all the details, including taillights, signal lights, reverse lights, very, very detailed racing tampos and sponsors on the side. The front has the silver Ford lettering right across the hood, as well as signal lights and headlights. All these vehicles that I'm about to show you feature a metal base, the plastic rims, and rubber tires. There's no shortage of that in this very highly collectible series. And just to give you a little bit of history on this particular vehicle, it was first released in 2015 as part of the Heritage series of vehicles, which also featured metal bases and rubber tires. This was how the actual van that the casting is based off looks like exactly. Ford Supervan. So there you can see it also has the headlights, headlights and signal lights. So really cool van. This is only the 6th time we've seen it. Other than the first edition release, which I'm showing you right now, it was released 4 other times in the Pop Culture series. Once with Star Trek, twice with Star Wars, and once with the Beatles on it. These 2 I think are my absolute favorite because of the realism of them and the details that go into them. In my opinion, the second most popular vehicle in this series is the Volkswagen Sun Agon, number 3 of 5. Wonderful artwork once again. You can see the detail in the artwork, just as you can find in all of the vehicles in this series. And the detail extends right down to the casting, which is what we're really after. wonderful all-metal casting. It has a plastic pop-up roof, the non-removable plastic motorcycle on the back, and of course that metal base, some really shiny 4-spoke chrome mags with slicks on them. The details speak for themselves. You've got the turn signal behind the rear wheel, chrome painted door handles. This car is quite an old casting, actually, dating right back to 1982. I'm going to just bring out a few of the original castings. Although this casting was discontinued in 1987, it was retooled and re-released in 2011. But right here I have two of the originals. This is the first release ever from 1982. Almost no difference that I can see between the new retooling and the old version, other than some base and copyright versions. But even then, quite similar. And I can quickly give you a demonstration of the pop-up camper that was found on this. This one here is from 1983. It was the second and last time the Volkswagen Sun Agon was seen in the North American market. It was continued until 1987, but only in international markets such as Mexico, India, and France. So pretty hard vehicles to find. Also, a little bit more history on this, the 2011 retool. This was used, in the 2011 Hot Ones series first, twice, once with the weekend machine set. The 2012 Hot Ones, it was recolored once again for that series. I do have all these vehicles, but they're hidden away in my boxes somewhere. And I do have my 2013 Retro Entertainment version, which was the last time we saw this. So it's been 5 years since we've seen the Sunagon. This was the last time we saw it from Retro Entertainment. Similar size card work, of course, with those vehicles, but Retro Entertainment has now been turned just into entertainment, and now it seems that the car culture is taking over. So a quick look, the Magnum PI version. This one was the first version ever to feature real rider wheels on it of all Sunagons ever produced, and has the same features that we see on the current car culture version. So both of these probably the most desirable of the retoolings that you can find. And like I said, this one is 5 years old, so you may have some trouble finding that one now. Anyways, if you can find that one, pick it up. It's beautiful. And now for the brand new casting, never seen before, brand new release for the cargo carriers is the Nissan C10 Skyline Wagon, based off of a 1969 Nissan Skyline Wagon model, as indicated on the base, right at the top there, above the Hot Wheels logo. Super nice casting, very nice chrome mag rims, similar to the ones seen on both the Transporter and the Ford Transit Supervan, but these ones are chrome and smaller. Tail lights, signal lights, marker lights on the side, very detailed front headlights and grille, and a beautiful kind of pearl aqua blue green teal color. Not really sure, I've just used a whole bunch of descriptives for that color. But once again, fantastic artwork of the real car here. And this is, at this point in time, the hardest car to find, the most desirable, possibly because it's never been seen before, and also because it does fit into that JDM craze that we're currently experiencing, where everyone is picking up these classic Japanese racing cars, and everything kind of somewhat related. This car does have a racing stance to it, being lowered with those big rims on it, custom paint job, but a very nice simple paint job. I'm glad they didn't go crazy with tampos all over it. For a first release, it's absolutely gorgeous. If you can find that one, definitely get your hands on at least one of them. Two, if you want to open one up, because it's hard not to keep one of these with that beautiful card art undisturbed. So I've got myself two, was very lucky. Had to buy those secondhand. Once again, I'm going to talk more about the rarity of the different castings at this point in time at the end of the video, because really all these cars should be created equal, and they basically are all created in nearly equal numbers from production points of view. Number 5 and last in the series of 5 vehicles is this Honda Odyssey. This van has got all the details you've ever wanted to see, and there being a lot of Honda Odysseys out there, I would think that this is going to be quite a popular casting as time goes on, because this is a really popular color for this real life vehicle. It's understated, much like the Skyline Wagon we saw, with the just really nice realistic paint job. Super realistic tampos as far as the grille emblem goes and the headlights. Silver trim over the windows, the door handles, and of course all the details on the back, just like a real Odyssey van. It's got some writing on the back window. It's hard to make it out at this point in time. Nice 5-spoke wheels. This one has a black painted metal base. It is not plastic. It is a heavy van. And this vehicle has a bit of history as well. This is the first time we've seen it with such decoration and detail in an adult collectible lineup of cars from Hot Wheels. However, it was first released in 2016 in the main line with a white, red, and blue paint job. And then again in 2017 with the similar paint job but red paint. Also this year, 2018, you can find it in the Honda 70th Anniversary 8-car series. I have not seen that yet, but this one is the only version that features the metal base and Real Rider wheels, and it is a nice one. It does have a big sunroof on top for a custom look, but all in all, really nice van. Hoping to see more realistic versions of this van, possibly in gold would be nice as well. Let's get into an opening of the second set of cars that I have, because that is the best way to really see the details from all corners without the packaging glare. We're going to start with the van, the Volkswagen T1 Panel Van. And as we go, I'm going to talk a little bit about why these things are harder to find than others vehicles in the set. First of all, let's just first admire every corner of this beautifully painted yellow bus. Awesome vehicle. The bus, I think, is a hard one to find because this is the first realistic paint job, as I had said earlier, for this casting. Every other casting has appeared in the pop culture series and features like a big Star Trek character's head on the side, or Boba Fett or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I don't collect pop culture for that reason. I really like authentic looking vehicles. And even though the vehicles are very nicely decorated in pop culture, it's just I can't collect absolutely everything. So I think this one is hard to find because, number one, a lot of collectors really like the Volkswagen Van and Bus, and that dates right back to 1996 when the first edition drag bus came out, if you're familiar with that one. So pretty tough to find that one. In my area there are two peg warmers, and this is one of them, the Ford Transit Supervan, which, you know, on the surface of things, just taking a look at these, seems strange because it is a really nicely painted vehicle. It's an awesome van. It's heavy duty. It's got the Golf tampos on it, which is kind of all the rage as far as decorations go currently in all brands of vehicles 1/64 scale. But for whatever reason, this one has been warming the pegs in the short time that cargo carriers have been available at my local Walmarts here in Ontario, Canada. But a really nice vehicle, and you can see even more appreciation for these once you can actually see the vehicles loose and see the shine of their paint jobs, all the details that sometimes can be somewhat overlooked when they are in their packaging. And here's a vehicle that is a little bit tougher to open just because I had to spend some good money to get this. I had to buy this one and the Skyline from eBay because they have been hoarded and scalped in my area. So this one and the Skyline, both equally rare in my area. Reasons for that: this is a super cool casting. Always has been. It's been around for a long time. The Volkswagen camper vans are nostalgic amongst people that don't even collect Hot Wheels, just people that might have one of these vans in real life. And also with the wood grain paint scheme on the side, the motorcycle, it really appeals to a lot of other collectors other than just Hot Wheels collectors. And it's a cool looking van. It always has been. It's iconic. And they've done a really nice job with it. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see inside there. It's hard to see inside, but detailed interior as well on this thing. Really, these cars all roll fantastic, of course, just like all Hot Wheels do. And here we go. This is the one that probably everybody wants to get their hands on for sure. Brand new casting by Hot Wheels. That always makes cars instant collectibles, first release versions. And as I had said before, the JDM craze. We've got yet another awesome Skyline to add to the mix of already extremely popular Nissan Skylines and Skyline Wagons of different generations or decades that they were produced. Out and about, so this one complements your collection of those types of cars perfectly. It's a very well proportioned car. It's a classic car as well, and right-hand drive, of course, being first produced in Japan back in 1969. Really nice car. Very heavy, of course, as well, and I love that the Hot Wheels nowadays mostly feature clear windows and realistic colored interiors versus back in the day we used to see a lot of orange windows and plastic weird interiors, but not so much anymore. Hot Wheels has really listened to the collector market, and also I think they have to remain competitive with other 1/64 scale diecast brands such as Greenlight, Johnny Lightning, M2, basically all those other cars that are competing for collectors' attention. The Honda Odyssey van. I was quite impressed with this one. However, it is also a peg warmer in my local area and reportedly in other areas. This has always been the case with every premium release of Hot Wheels cars, 5 or 6 car sets as they've been over the years. There's always going to be a couple cars that are harder to find than the others, and really that just comes down to supply and demand. And right now, although the supply should be theoretically nearly equal for all these vehicles, demand for certain castings is obviously a lot higher, and hence, the stores get left with the cars that aren't as much in demand, which then become the peg warmers. But this is a really cool racing style Honda Odyssey. Nice matte finished metal base, and great proportions for these vans. They look wonderful next to each other. The cargo carriers vehicles, very impressive in my opinion. I hope that any of you out there that are looking to collect these are lucky enough to find them, and I would recommend you get to your local stores early when they open every single day until you get your hands on a full set. Otherwise, if you don't have the time and the patience to do that, like me, you might just head to eBay and fork over a bit of extra money to those that are picking these things up and reselling them. Anyways, happy hunting everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a comment.